Boxing King Media in association with Boxer. Delighted to have with me debutant Fran Hennessy. Fran, great to see you. Firstly, how are you?
I'm all good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Listen, I've been seeing a couple of videos you've done over the last couple of days, and it feels like the excitement is real high at the moment. You can't stop smiling, which is great.
Honestly, I can't wait. I've dreamed of this since I've been a young girl, and it's finally here. So I'm just taking it all in right now, and yeah, can't wait for Saturday.
Only 48 hours away. What was kind of the key decision to kind of turn over? You're so young. You could have stayed a non-professional. Increased the amateur career, maybe even the Olympics down the line. What was the reason in turning pro?
To be honest, I think women's boxing right now is at such a high, and I think it's prime time for me to turn pro. There's never really been an 18-year-old girl to turn pro in Britain, as far as I'm aware of. So I think it was a bit of a statement, me doing that, and I think it's the best time to do it. As I said, women's boxing's booming at the minute. So.
Obviously, your father's been around a long time, has promoted some great fights. How much was the upbringing? How much were you involved in boxing during the upbringing of your early days?
Oh, really involved in boxing. My dad was always in and out of shows. He'd sometimes take us with him to them, and yeah, obviously he's promoted a lot of great fighters, and yeah, we was always in and around it. My dad didn't want me to box, but here we are. He couldn't push me off doing it, so I kept, trying to get him to let me, and here we are.
Do you remember the first day that you kind of put on the gloves and went on the bag or the pads?
To be honest, I don't really remember, because me and my brother used to spar in the hall. Like when I was a baby, he'd go on his knees and I'd be like ripping into him. So yeah, I don't really remember, but I remember the first time I properly went into a boxing gym was about 9-10 years old. I first went into a boxing gym.
So go through that conversation now. You're with your dad. How do you break it down? That dad, I don't want to do education. I don't want to go to university. I want to become a female boxing fighter.
Honestly, it took a while to convince him and my mum. Like, they didn't want me boxing, I just had to follow him around to gyms, beg him to go with him and Michael. I'd sit on the hallway step watching them two do pads, taking it all in, what they was doing. And one day, we was at this gym, these girls needed sparring, and they said, "Oh, do you want to spar?" And I said, "Oh, I'll spar." He said, "You haven't got a gum shield." Pulled my gum shield out my bag. "You haven't got a head guard." Pulled my head guard out my bag. And that it all went from there. From that day, he saw that I'd been watching what him and Michael had been doing and taking it on myself. And he thought, I can't not let her box. So.
What's the team setup like in terms of, obviously I know Bradley Skeet will be kind of training you, but just explain the whole setup on how the team is behind the scenes?
So obviously me and Michael, we both train with Brad. Sometimes we do joint sessions, sometimes we'll do it at different times. But it's really nice. Brad's more than a trainer to us. He's literally like family. He's got our back for anything. We've got a few other teammates on our team as well who we really get along with. We all body spar together, and it's great. It's like a little community in our club.
What advice has those people around you given? People like Brad, people like, obviously Brad's accomplished professional, retired now, Mick, and obviously your father. What advice have they given you?
They've just told me to take it all in. You only get this chance once. They told me to stay relaxed, and we do what I know I can do. That I'm gonna be a big name in women's boxing. So I'm just staying relaxed, taking it all in, and yeah. Can't wait for Saturday.
In terms of weight, I believe you're going to be going down in weight. What's the purpose of that? And just clarify kind of the reasons for that.
I'm going down in weight just because it's better for my height and everything. In the amateurs, I boxed at a heavier weight. I was always against way taller girls, way bigger girls than me, which was fine. I did well for that. But I think in the pros, it's a different situation. So we've decided to go down a weight. Whether in the future we go up or down again, who knows? But for now, we stay at bantamweight, and yeah, I think I'll do very well at it.
Women's boxing, as you said, is thriving at the moment. Sky put on a card almost a year ago, I think 11 months ago, back in the O2, an all-females card. When you look back at those events, do you feel like you could be that next woman that takes British boxing to that next level?
Definitely, I'd love to be able to do that. It's always been a dream of mine. But I was actually at that all-women's card, and as a young girl, to see how far women's boxing has come was honestly surreal. I was in that crowd like a little fangirl, like, wow, this is amazing. So if that could be, well, hopefully when that's me one day, honestly, it would be amazing.
Anything special for the ring walk?
Just you'll see. I'm a dancer, aren't I? I love a bit of a groove and move, so it's not going to be serious faces. It's going to be smiles and ready to get in that ring.
That's great to hear. Caroline Dubar, obviously headlines. She goes for an IBO title. Obviously, people are mixed on whether that is a legitimate world title or not a world title. Putting that aside, another great fighter and an opportunity to be on a card of someone like Caroline, who's got so much potential to do big things in the sport of women's boxing.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's great to be on the undercard of Caroline. You know, women's boxing's booming at the minute. You know, Caroline's a great fighter. She's quite young like myself, so it's nice to have someone else who's quite young around me in the sport, you know. But yeah, it's great to be on our undercard. It's amazing.
I know your brother isn't here today. You said he'll be here fighting night, but how's his preparations going? Because he's got a big one coming up with Harley Benn in a couple of weeks' time as well.
Oh, his preparation's going amazing. He's looking unreal in the gym and he's ready to do a proper job on Harvey. So, yeah, I just think this one's really personal for us. You know, he's got family involved. You don't do that. It's completely morally wrong. And yeah, he's overstepped the mark. So Michael's going to put some manners on him come the 21st of October. And I can't wait for everyone to see it.
Just finally, growing up, who did you idolise? Who were the people? It doesn't have to be a female boxer, but who were the fighters that you look up to and look up to now?
So obviously, I've always looked up to Savannah Marshall. That's not even because my dad manages her. I've just always been in and around her. She's a great person, a great fighter, you know, and I'd love to be looked up to the way that I look up to her one day. So definitely Savannah. I love Prince Nassim Hamid, his style, his flair, his showbiz. Sugar Ray Leonard, loved Sugar Ray, all like the showbiz ones, you know. I love stuff like that, but yeah.
Fran, great speaking to you. Keep on smiling, keep that energy, and I look forward to this ring walk on Saturday night, only 48 hours away.
Keep your eyes peeled. Nice to talk to you.
Thanks for being to Boxing King Media.